All right, hi everybody. Thanks for showing up to the Fish Talk episode. I think it's 10 or 9. I don't know, one or the other. But I want to thank everybody for showing up. We have Mike from All Things Fish. He was the first one to comment. We have Sandy Farrell, Adele, Calibration of Curiosity, and she's going to the gym. Have fun with that. We have Kevin Long. We have Miss Max Socks. We have John McKenzie, Muppet, and Furlough. Thank you all for coming. Here in a few minutes, Science Carrie from ScienceGal Aquatics will be joining us, and I will have some questions for her. I'm sure Bobby here will think of something.
I'll try to pull something out of the old hat.
Yeah, how about it?
And hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us. I'm not going to pick out each one because Skipper has done that, but hello to everyone and everybody coming in.
We have RB Animals and Collectibles, Griffin, Lori, Monster Fish Gal, Dave showed up, and Greg the Guppy. Thanks for being here. Appreciate you. But what did you get new this week? Did you get anything new this week you want to tell people?
Um, I finally got my 3 bags of Eco Complete. I went and picked it up, and then got me another 20-gallon long, and what else did I get? And I got 12 of those I think they're called like Ember Tetras.
Mm-hmm.
I got
the small ones. They're kind of like an orangish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got me some of them, and what else? Oh yeah, and I picked up this little. It's of course, I mean, like it's not what I'd put a bed in or nothing, but it's like a little cube, small little tank. I mean, like to be honest with you, I think it's maybe like a half a gallon or so. But I just picked it up because they had it on sale for like $19 or something, and it's actually made really well. But the whole thing I'll be getting it is I ain't gonna put no fish in. I'm just gonna do like a type of like this biotope or whatever. It's just going to be just nothing but plants, and ain't gonna have no like filtration or nothing in it. And I might put a couple of shrimp in it. That's about it. But it's just going to be like a couple little mosses, and it's going to be like a little cool little. It's going to be like a little aquascape, self sustaining ecosystem.
Yeah,
just to play around with. But that's about it. So what did you get?
After I say hi to these people that snuck in on us, I'll do that. RB Animals, hello. Scott's Aquatics is here. Deborah Lewis, Geek Boy's here. And then Petra Man, they were 50% off also. I forgot to mention that one whenever we was there. What's up, Big J?
Like if I had room for one, and whatever, that I was wanting to get one of them, but I didn't. I backed off of it because I knew that that I'd be putting it up somewhere and storing it. So,
well, I'm going to tell you right now, I carried them 40s in myself, and I was paying for it. So I could imagine a 75.
yeah.
So hi, Fishy Mon, hi Maria Z, and John Larson. But in Vinosky Tanks, thanks for showing up. Yeah, I ended up picking up. I posted a video. I put up bought 240s, 210s, and a 20 high. Hello, Kaylor. Thanks for being here. And I also bought 4 guppy fish for the wife. So.
Oh, nice. Very
And
cool.
Andre Ellis here. Thanks for showing up.
Hello, everyone that's came in. Um, th- Thank you so much for coming and hanging out with us. So it sounds like that your with your basement uh, fish room project is going to be coming along pretty good then.
Yeah, I just got to start building stuff. I got to figure out how to heat that without. I got to figure out a way to heat it for the winter.
Um, do you have natural gas where you live at?
No. If I did, that would have been an option. I could have got a one of those ventless propane heaters would have worked.
Oh yeah, yeah, that would work really well. Now in your fish room, are you planning on getting you one of those Jimco like
Yeah, I'll get a
with the
linear.
piston pumps?
Yeah, I'll get a linear pump because that'll help with the electricity bill too. I want to make it all into one, and then because I'll run probably a bunch of sponge filters, I might back off on the hobs because
Oh
they
yeah.
definitely suck up a lot of electricity.
Yeah, and then you got to constantly I mean, like those. I mean, because which I have some, but I just switched all mine to sponge filters, and like sponge filters, it's easy. You just put them in there, and then then occasionally, you just reach your hand in there, take it out, and we just wring it out a couple of times and put it back.
Yeah, wow, we got some more people showing up. Hello, Nadia, Halo Fins and Floral. We have William Pridemore, Florida Fish Rescue, and Sandy Dowdy. Thanks for being here. Yeah, I definitely want to get it all into one because it'll definitely make everything a lot easier, and it'll save money on the electricity bill.
Oh yes, definitely. To be honest with you, although I only have like 7 tanks, and I mean, I'm actually planning on getting me one myself, just so that way I don't have 5 or 6 extra pumps.
Here is the guest of the hour.
We had a food discussion with the kids. I'm like, oh my goodness.
Yeah,
Hello,
that's
Carrie.
discussion.
Hi.
Mine are like, I want ramen noodles.
Yeah, one only
No.
lives on pizza, and we're trying to get him to eat something besides pizza.
Yeah.
We'll see.
There's a question I had for you. I just thought of because your tanks are in your basement, right?
Mm-hmm.
How do you keep it heated?
It just stays warmer down here. It's always warmer in the winter and cooler in the summer. I don't really have to worry about it. If that's not really helpful at all. But
No, it's not.
I do have heaters in a lot of the tanks, but I've taken a lot of the heaters out of the tanks because they just didn't need it. But it's just always warmer down here in the winter and always cooler in the summer.
Yeah, it's definitely cool. See, my basement, I haven't really checked out the temperature, what it is down there in the winter. So,
yeah, just walking down the steps, you can feel the change. And I'm like, oh, I know that's not helpful at all. But yeah, when I moved everything down here, I had a heater for every tank and a filter for every tank, and they just didn't need it. And I got some Amicus Splendens, and I had a heater in there for like a day, and I was like, they don't even need this. So it's in the tank, but it's not plugged in.
That's what I'll probably have to figure out whenever I venture on doing it.
Yeah, but the basement. It's a pretty large size basement. Jesse bought it. This is his house, and I got lucky when I moved in because I was like, this is perfect. And I just he had a desk right here with a printer, and I just was like, you don't use this, do you? And he's like, no. I was like, can I take it out? And he's like, I guess. And so I took over. The other side of this wall right here is a wrestling mat. That's his side. That's where the kids play. He's a wrestling coach, so that's where they would mess around. So I left that alone because the kids, they jump and go crazy, and it's padded, so I don't have to worry about anything.
Yeah.
But we're usually just always down here because it's always just more comfortable than upstairs.
And that you got stuff to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. On the other side of this wall in front of me, that's the pool. They have a pool table in there, and I bought a TV for myself for my birthday to put a TV down there that we don't use. We just play pool, and then I have some. That's where I moved the outside rice fish tubs into to keep them warm just for the winter, and so it's kind of a catch-all room right now, but we can still play a little bit of pool in there. And then that's where Brighton's. He has that room used to have surround sound, or it was some kind of sound room because there's a little extra tiny room that's soundproofed in there, and that's where we put his Fortnite stuff in so he can scream and get mad and be happy again.
That's
soundproof.
Room.
I originally redid all that because I was like, that'd be perfect for voiceovers and like film, like just editing. But the kids wanted it more.
Oh, there'll be a time where that room's available. So
yeah.
How many fish tanks do you currently have?
I haven't counted in a while. I think I'm at 25. I think 20 something. I haven't honestly counted in a while. I was adding, and then I tore a bunch of the 5-gallon tanks out and put a 55-gallon in to replace. So I kept the amount of water volume, just less tanks, but I replaced them with a bigger tank.
Bob wants to know if anybody was held in that room against their will.
Huh?
Bob wants to know if anybody was held in that room against their will.
Well, no. Jesse said 24 tanks. Sometimes the cat gets locked in there a lot because it won't leave the rabbit alone. So we put him in there with a bunch of toys, and we put the rabbit in here with a bunch of toys and hope for the best.
How many different species of fish do you have?
Have guppies, mollies, platies. I have a bunch of plecos. I have some neon tetra, the Meekin splendens, Carry tetras, swordtails, CPDs, and then I have goldfish, rice fish, pufferfish, the silver arowana, koi, white clouds, and mosquito fish. I believe is everything I have currently. I think.
And like out of all those fish that you have, if you had to pick one that you just could not do without, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That if something was to happen and you had to get rid of everything besides one certain fish, which one would you pick out of that?
I'd probably honestly go with Carry tetras because they're Carry tetras, and nothing ever is spelled the way my name is spelled, but those fish are. And I got them from Rachel O'Leary, so they're extra special. But
nice.
I don't know, I'm so torn. The arowana, me and him, we've had to learn each other's persons as we've had some times. Jesse, he's over here talking to me. He's like, the arowana is mine. Arowana is mine. You can't come back and say hi.
I was keeping Charlie.
I know.
I was keeping Charlie entertained.
She's
Jesse.
the type of little girl. She flips everywhere instead of walks. She likes to do cartwheels from room to room.
Yeah, I have a pretzel for a daughter.
Mm-hmm.
What's a fish that you would like to get that you don't have currently?
I was thinking about this the other day, and I don't know if there's so many.
Mm-hmm.
We were talking about gobies a while ago. I really do like gobies. I just don't know how to keep them all the way yet. They're so cute. But I've been looking at cichlids again because I really like them. I just don't know a lot about them, but I would like a smaller cichlid of some sort. And then the Grommies. The Grommies are always nice to have. I haven't had one. I have a dwarf one, a male one, but another Grommy would be nice. I don't know how to choose.
Yeah, that's a hard question for me.
I was like, if I could breed one, if there's one that I have right now that I would really like to breed, it would be those Cheese Creek plecos eventually. I would really like to breed them if I happen to, by some miracle, have a male and female, or somehow try to get the one I don't have. And those CPDs I have. I'm trying. I've done the spawning. I made the spawning mops. And I put the spawning mops in the tank, but I have a bad habit of forgetting to take the spawning mops out of the tank. So once I can remember to like finish the process, I would like to try to breed some CPDs and try to get some of them. But it just depends. Like every time I go in the fish store, I fall in love with something else. And I'm like, that's not what I came in here for, but I'm going to take that too.
Another big tank and fill it full of rays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds like an awesome idea.
Yeah, that. Oh man,
You don't have one big enough.
Hello, everyone that's coming in. Thank you so much for hanging out. And also, if anyone in chat wants to ask Carrie and Jesse questions, just post them in there, and we will make sure that they see them.
Up Bean Town, Gnarly Fish Tanks, and NKR Fishing and Outdoors showed up. Wow. We got 30-some people watching. This is great.
Oh, wow.
I need it.
I tell you
That
one,
is almost as...
Charlie, was it easy?
I tell you one fish I would like to get, but it's going to be by itself, is a cow goby.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
That would be neat.
Cow goby?
Oh yeah, look that one up. It's huge.
I'm going to have to check that out.
They're pretty cool looking. I saw one on Joey Slam. He has one. I was like, yep, there's a fish I want to get. That's my monster fish I want.
Wow. That sounds cool.
Yeah, you'll have to look it up. It's a pretty cool fish.
Yeah.
Beantown boats back in the water. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. My kids were already pond fishing today and doing very well.
You can see it pop up in
and she's
her
sitting
head
right
here.
beside me.
You can see a random face every once in a while.
Yeah.
If you see or hear a random sound, that's
Yeah. Yeah.
it's Charlie.
That's fine.
She was perch slaying today and bass catching.
Oh,
that's
nice. It's definitely getting that season for sure. I can't wait till it starts warming up to start doing some outside tubbing.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
We were talking about that I'm just going to do a test run to see if I want to keep doing it. But the problem is I got 3 dogs, and if I put one in my backyard, they're going to think it's a watering trough.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I mean, considering the dogs that you have, they are kind of tall. So that means, that you would probably have to raise it up with like cinder blocks or whatever if you did do it right.
Man, possibility I would find one in it too, because I got 3 labs. Get in it.
I gotta find some I think they call it bird netting, but I don't know where a person would find that at.
They
Just
sell
to
'em
cover up the
Lowe's.
pond.
Tell them it Lowe's in the pond section.
John, is that the same? I think I had the freshwater frogfish is the same thing as the freshwater lionfish. Isn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Same thing.
Yeah, I had one for a little while, and she was doing really well for I think we had her a year. but I water changed the tank, and I don't know if I got it too salty, not enough, not salty enough. I don't know exactly what happened, but
Yeah, they start out freshwater and then they gradually get
I believe that's
more to the salt and all the way, eventually all full salt. But,
but I kept waiting. The guy I got her from said that they make like this crazy loud groan, like frog sound during their mating season, and I just kept waiting to hear that. And he said it would scare you. It was so loud, but I never got to hear that. But he said it would rattle the side of the tank when you would know. So, but I never did. But they were so ugly, they were adorable.
Yeah, her name was Lucy. She was so ugly. She was cute.
But it looked like a frog. The face looked like frog. It really did to me. I could see. But they weren't poisonous or anything or venomous. But they would, if you touched their head area, it would sting. You would have it wouldn't feel good, from what I understood. So I never got that close. But we would hand feed it with the long tweezers things, and it was fun to watch them eat. Because they would just kind of camouflage into an area. They didn't swim a lot, and they would just wait. And when they struck, they struck. But it was so cool. I was so sad. I was sad. I was honestly depressed for a week because I just didn't know what happened. I couldn't even go over to that tank for a while. And we have puffers in that tank now, but I just kind of I didn't let the tank go, but I didn't want to go over there for a little bit because I was just mad at myself. And then I got cleaned up and redone and kind of rescaped a little bit. But yeah, a frog with legs and just sits on the bottom.
Yep, pretty much.
Every once in a while she would swim on top of the driftwood and kind of blend in, or she would bury in the gravel, or you would see her kind of I had this big fake plant in there, and it would kind of rest in the plant. Every grand once in a while it would come out, but usually it was just buried underneath that driftwood, and you just see the face.
Different.
Oh, it was so ugly, but it was adorable.
Somebody wants to know, how do you deal with the heat with outdoor tubbing? What do you do?
There is a couple of days, I think it was last summer, that I felt like one of the tubs got a little too hot, and the kids drank a lot of Gatorade and water. So we keep the water bottles and we freeze them, and I would float those Gatorade or whatever I had frozen on there during the heat, the hottest part of the afternoon. But the fish I never had a problem with any of the fish, even when it did. The smaller ones got a lot, those were the ones I had to worry about. The larger tubs I really didn't have to worry about. They just kind of the rain would come and cool them down, or if they got really low with evaporation, I just wait for the rain to fill them back up. It never got low enough to where I was losing anything. I just kind of let nature do its thing out there. In the fish room, I kind of do more stuff, but once the tubs are outside, I'll feed them still. I still feed them, but everything the less I do, the better they do, if that makes sense. But if it feels abnormally warm to my fingertips, there is a day and I was like, that might be a little hot. I'll float some ice.
Yeah, well, let's float an ice jug in there and
whatever I have, and it'll cool it down to the evening time, and then everything's good overnight.
See, I heard that some people will set them somewhere where they'll get sun most of the day, and then make sure they get some shade.
Yeah, the majority of my tubs I set up in the backyard against the house, so it's more the morning time. They're direct, and it's not so hot. And then when the sun is straight up overhead, they're shaded. But my mosquito fish tub is along the fence where my koi pond is, and it's usually more direct. It's warmer, but it's a bigger tub, so it never gets super hot just because it's a 300 gallon. So it just seems like it's always, it's ugly, but I use the trash can lid to where I put the water in my fish room. It came with a lid for that 55 gallon. And I float that in there with the plants and everything else just to add extra shade. It doesn't look pretty at all, but they really like those mosquito fish cluster under that trash can lid. And they just kind of hang out there for shade. And then when the sun goes down or whatever, they'll come out and peck around on things. But if that helps. But yeah, a lot of them I do. I put against the house, so they're shade. They get full sun, but they're definitely more shaded than they are direct sun.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to try myself. I mean, see, I have tubbed one other time, but I didn't really like know a lot as I do now. So now I think I can do a lot better job. It's kind of one of them, like you just try not to do what you messed up with the last time.
Yeah, the first year, this is, I think we said year 3, summertime. That first year, I really liked, I had the filters that had the double waterfall, and we cut it and bent it and screwed it into place on those tubs, and it was just too much water flow. The guppies were just everywhere. And I thought they liked it. But when I turned it off and got the air stones that I can turn down, I cut something into them and I turned down the airflow to where
we put a valve in.
A valve in there to where it's just kind of barely coming out, especially for the rice fish. They like that a lot better than when I had. It was just to the point they were just spinning in circles all day in the tub. I'm like, I don't know. They like flow and they like to play, but I don't know if they like that. So I took all that off, and the dog helped me taking it off by eating most of it. But now we just use air stones, and I'll have a bigger air pump, and then I'll kind of splice all of them together on that one air. So I'm not got a lot of air pumps outside, because I don't know how well they do getting rained on, but I don't have a problem with them. I just take them, whatever I not using in the fish room, and I just try to recycle it somehow outside so I can use it outside.
Well, Bob says he sets them up for 2 to 4 hours sun, but there was a question up about fish for 60-degree temperature. And I'm going to go back to the white clouds.
Yeah, the white clouds. White clouds and the rice fish. The rice fish probably preferred to be outside. They like the colder, but I felt like those tubs were so small that they would freeze too quick. Whereas the bigger ones, I didn't think they would freeze, but they did. But the rice fish, the white clouds.
If you have a form of mosquito fish, they'll handle it.
They don't seem to mind it. I'm trying to think what else.
Yeah, because we're breeding one of the Missouri native species mosquito fish.
I know the Amicus splendens, they like a little bit cooler. They seem to do better when I take the heater out and don't even mess with heat and anything. They just do way better. The guppies, I can keep the guppies in colder water, but I try not to go below 68 for the guppies. I think that's about all I can think of off the top of my head. I'm smarter when the camera's not on.
Paradise fish, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't have a clue. I mean, because like I said, this year is going to be the first year that I'm actually going to do it, and I'm just taking in like tips and tricks from people's videos and from experiences, and just going to, I guess, wing it, so to speak. I mean,
well,
just
and
give it a go.
Tubs, plants.
Well, even in the bigger tubs.
Yeah, I mean, in the big tubs we do too, but plants, because that provides the shade, everything that all the questions have been talking about.
I just try to put whatever plant I can get my hands on. I went to that newer fish store. It's an hour away, and it's the first fish store I've seen around here that's close that has a pond section. You can go out and like look at pond stuff. And I was like, I want this, and I want this, and I want this. And then I went to the checkout, and I was like, oh, here you go.
Yeah.
I was like, I wanted a bit much. But the only thing I have really horrible luck with, and I want to try so bad, is that water lettuce. I buy it every year, and I think it just gets too wet from the rain and stuff like that. But I don't know. We're about to get invaded by children.
Well,
Well, thank you.
well, Taylor brought up a good one. Barbs will
Yeah,
do.
That's awesome.
I totally didn't even think about that.
Can you see his picture? You wanted me to show a picture?
And Bob, on those barbs, I mean, like, is it possible that if one puts enough, like, let's just say, like, guppy grass and like your wisteria in there, that the barbs would actually like produce in an outside tub, or like, do you think that they would have to like have special treatment as we do in our tanks, as far as like putting a spawning mop and then taking it out and put it into another tank and all that stuff? Because like my main goal is to try to do some breeding, and and I won't do guppies, but I'm kind of on the fence about guppies, because the hard part is trying to figure out what to do with all of them when the season's over with.
Yeah, it's the thing. Whenever you get into that summer tubbing, you're obviously going to have a bunch more fish than what you started with.
Well,
Yeah.
we luck out in the fact that we can either bring them in, or she's got me roped in to always have extra. I have an extra tank or something open.
Yeah.
To move around and play the shuffle game.
Oh yeah. Spare tanks is always nice to have, and every time that I would set up what you call a quarantine tank, a hospital tank, they always turned into that's a regular fish tank. Like you always start putting plants in it and making it look good, and then it's no longer a hospital tank.
Yeah, every tank I have started that way. That's my quarantine tank, and then it becomes that whenever I came home that day, that's just its tank forever. And then I'm like, I need another hospital tank, and then that's how it slowly grew from my quarantine tank.
Well, I can actually say that I love like I can't see with your whole fish room, but from what I can see, I really love y'all setup. It's very well done.
Over here, there's more. There's more this way. These are just not as clean. It goes all the way that way.
And it keeps going.
And then I'll try not to take you on a roller coaster ride too bad, but then it goes this direction. You can see my wonderful algae collection. That's my Splendid tank. And then my catch-all room, and then there's my other ones, and all my stickers and artwork and stuff. I put on my fish room stickers.
I love it.
Thank you.
And I mean, like, I really do hope one day, that I can move to a place that has like a garage or a basement to where I can do that. Because I'm kind of like limited on what I can set up, because like being in a mobile home, house trailer, or however you want to call them, depending on where you're at in the country. You can only set up so many without coming home to a tank that is sitting on the ground because it fell through the floor.
Yeah.
This is random. I haven't thought about this in like forever. And my old ballet teacher, when I was a little bitty kid, her dance studio was in a double ride trailer, and one house was a ballet studio, and the other half was she bred fish. It was wall-to-wall fish tanks everywhere when you'd walk in through that door from the ballet studio. It was just, you'd walk in, you're like, whoa, that's probably where I got it. Like, didn't even think about that. But yeah, and she bred fish, I guess, and she had her ballet studio, and I would go in there and see all the fish all the time.
Bob, tour. Well, Bob, come up, have lunch with me. I'll give you a tour.
Yeah. I haven't thought about that in probably 25 years, but yeah, she sure did.
Nice. I missed it. Bob was Bob was giving out tips about the with the barbs. He said that there are free spawners, and I guess that means that they like to like scatter their eggs.
You
And
want
he
to
said to put
moss in there.
gravel and moss.
Yeah, I
Okay.
haven't kept barbs. I always go up to them and look at them, the cherry barbs, but I've never actually like brought them home and cared for them before. They're always so pretty though.
And RB Animals and Collectibles has the same problems I do. Awesome. Well, I mean, like that is nice to know that there's people out there who's got the issues I do.
Yeah.
Well,
A
that's
lot
the
of
reason I didn't have very many growing up. Like, I had an apartment for years and years and years and years, and we were only allowed. I had that 30-gallon boat front. That's all I could have for a long time, and I wanted more, but I just couldn't. I wasn't allowed to be in that little bitty tiny apartment.
Never heard of the melon barbs.
I haven't either.
It sounds cool.
But now that Bob mentioned the barbs, I mean, like, I definitely would love to keep barbs, but I just can't in my current tanks because of the fish I have. I mean, because I'm scared that they'll just gonna just like aggravate and attack all my fish, and because like where I've heard that barbs can be very nippy and aggressive. And because I keep like guppies and I got some like rainbow fish and like neon tetras and stuff like that, I just have a feeling that it's just not going to be good. So the barbs, I may end up trying that, but I'm going to have to find a home for them when it comes time to put it down.
Children.
That is a melon barb.
Wow.
Ooh, that is nice.
Wow. That's cool.
Oh, we're going on a fish adventure.
Yeah, somebody mentioned this fish and we didn't know what it was.
Yeah, that's cool.
You know, it seems like that every time that we go on a adventure like that, seeing new fish, I somehow get another tank. I'm like, oh man, not gonna have that one.
Hey, though, I was saying the way the fish store up here changed their marquee sign, and they've got a bunch of cool stuff in. And every time I drive past that, it's calling my name, and I'm like, I'm not ready. I wanted to wait a little bit before getting anything, and all I can do is not go in. But I wanted to kind of shuffle a few things around tank wise in before I got anything new, but I don't know how long that's gonna last.
Bob said he never had a barb that nipped. That is way overstated. Well, then I guess that means I'm gonna have to get a couple and just try it out then.
Yeah, just watch them and see what happens.
What tank do you want to put them in?
Well, I mean, it's probably going, if I get any now because of what I have in my 40 breeder, it probably be going in like either a 20 long or a 20 high.
He says you want to keep them in a group, kind of like probably 6 of them.
Now I'm definitely going to have to get a type of species that like don't get real big, I guess, so to speak, considering the size tank that they're going to go in. So that way I can have a decent school of them. Tiger and Denison barbs. Gotta rearrange some things in the fish room first. Awesome mismatched socks.
Yes, you do, Nadia. Do it. Get another tank. You won't regret
And while you're at it, get 2.
it.
I haven't ever seen somebody look at me so crazy. I think it was 2 years ago when I went to Petco on the dollar gallon sale. I went in and I just started picking up 20 long, like they were candy. And she was working, and the lady's like, "What are you going to do with all these?" I was like, "I'm going to put them in my car." And she's like, "How are you going to get all these in your car?" I'm like, "Trust me. I got a fish room at home. I can get these 6 tanks in this car and have room. And I put a 40 in there with them."
Nice. And I call that a good time because it's always nice to go shopping for fish or tanks or anything.
Oh, when I went back to pick her up at work, she was like, "What did you do?" I was like, "You can just look in the car."
I used to go like yard selling, garage selling all the time because you'd find like hidden treasures that they would just be like, "Just take it." I was like, "Okay." And we were at that last one we went to, we picked up all of that. I think she had 2 or 3 tanks there and we got all of them. And there was a lady there shopping just at the garage sale. She's like, "Do you want some more tanks?" I was like, "Sure." She's like, "Do you want to come to my house?" I was like, "Okay." And she gave me more tanks.
Wow.
Oh,
like,
nice.
This is awesome.
Jackpot.
When you start talking to people, the next thing you know, they're like, "Yeah, if you come over and I'll pick it up, yeah, I got a 55 sitting in my garage that I haven't used in 10 years. I'll go pick it up and take it and reseal it."
I gave one of my hair clients a free haircut for a fish tank. I was like, "We'll trade it out. I'll do your hair for free and you can give me the tanks you don't want."
Well, that's pretty cheap unless they wanted a hair dye.
I was like, "We can make this work. I don't care." There's always a way to get more fish tanks.
Yeah. And then you get to the point you just start upgrading them.
I like the big tanks now. I never knew how much I would enjoy. I always had the smaller ones, and then everybody said they were easier, and then I tried it. I was like, yeah, it's right.
Just do it and then ask for forgiveness later.
Yeah, that's how we run our relationship.
Yeah. If I have my way, the little tanks will be quarantine tanks, and everything will eventually switch to 55s or bigger.
I do prefer the 75 over the 55, but I'll take it. I can find something. I like the depth of the 75 over the 55 is just not wide enough sometimes.
Yeah.
Depends what you're going to put in it.
Like the next big tank that I'm going to get, like bigger than what I have, it's going to be a toss up between a 50-gallon low boy or a 75-gallon.
I want a 50-gallon low boy so bad I can't hardly stand it. I want one so bad.
Where would you even get one of them at? I have not even seen them. You'd have to order it, I guess.
Well, there's only I kick myself every day. There was one where I work is 2 hours away from my house, and they had it. It was kind of in like the reptile area, and it was on sale for $99. And I was like, well, if they have it here now, they'll have it next time. No. And I haven't seen one since. And that was what, two
couple years ago.
It was only $99. I'm like, what was in my head that even justified walking out of the store without buying that?
Yeah. You see, like right now, the fish store that I usually go to, I was there last week and they had one, and like I almost got it, but it's brand new, still in the box. I could have got it for like $130, which is still a good deal. I mean, and I probably still have it, but I think I'm gonna have to buy a new phone first. So
Yeah.
Where's this store located?
it's in Jefferson City.
Yeah.
And if I'm not mistaken, I mean, like Petco, because Petco sells ZooMed brand, and because those 50 low bores are made by
Mhm.
ZooMed, I mean, you might could try to get them to order you one, maybe. But I'm sure that you would have to get like a decent like relationship with somebody there, you
Mhm.
know. But but I mean, I don't see why they could not get you one in,
Mhm.
because they do sell that brand. So
That's what I want to upgrade my arowana tank to 240, a 300. I have a 180 now. I just want eventually sometime in the future, but it's harder to find. I'm in the same, like, where do you even find those? I assume I'll have to do the same thing. Just go in there, talk to someone, be really nice, be like, so, how do you get these $300 tanks that everybody's talking about, or these 240s? Because I need one of those too. And I thought they would be easier to locate, and they are not here. Bigger tanks are really
ooh,
hard to come by here, unless you can find a bigger one, but they're not long enough for arowana to swim. They're kind of boxy, and I need a long one. But hopefully, if not, I'll be like, Jeffro, how you feel? Have you stocked that 300-gallon yet?
oh yeah,
Yeah,
that is right. He does have some
I told
tanks.
him. He's like, I don't know. I was like, it's kind of a joke. I'm like, well, I trust you. But that's the
Hey
hard part is
George.
you can't put anything. Well, you probably could. I'm so protective of him that I don't want to put anything else in there in case they have something. But it's hard to have a big tank with one. Just, I'd like to have something in there as a tank mate for him, because I think honestly he's not as aggressive when he had a tank mate. But I'm just so protective that I don't. Even with quarantine, I don't know if I could even. And then you'd go through all that work to quarantine a new fish, and then you would just eat them or something. That's just.
Well,
I'd like
you'd
to
have
put
to
something
put
else
something in there of similar size
Huge.
to him that
Yeah.
he could not eat.
I just sit that tank and contemplate it all the time. I'm like, I don't know. It looks so bare, but everything I put in there, he destroys. So,
Well, I mean, I got an idea what you could put in there with them,
well,
and I mean,
love
like
it.
Jesse would love this idea too. Is get you some of those stingrays like you was talking
Uh-huh.
about.
Yeah, put them on
That'd
the
be awesome.
bottom.
But they need a bigger tank too.
Yeah, and they'd have to have bigger tanks. So man, that means I'm gonna have,
We could baby like smaller ones.
Yeah.
And try.
that means I have to
Throw 'em
switch again.
Get some pups.
Get some pups. Start with pups and then move up to a 500-gallon.
Mm-hmm. They had some at
Yep.
one of the fish shows I went to, and we were just staring like kids, like, oh, look how cool.
they are pretty neat.
Uh-huh.
I'd have to hit the
Like
lottery and get a mansion.
like if worse comes to worse, you could try to build a plywood type tank. You know how some people will do that, and they'll take that
Yeah.
epoxy
Oh, yeah.
and stuff. And,
Oh yeah, I've thought about it.
We've watched, I think it, like, multi-tank addiction, I can't think, multi-tank addiction series, and like Joey's and stuff, and I watch them all the time. I'm like, we can do it. We can do it.
Geek
We can do
boy,
it.
I see a 2K. Plywood tank in your future.
Mhm. Well, we were talking about building a pond like a bigger pond, and I was like, I don't know, like we should probably redo the kitchen or something first. But that pond sounds so much, even like the build. Like I would rather build a pond any day than kitchen cabinets.
yeah.
Nah, that's something on my list this year is the kitchen.
But yeah.
Honeydew list.
Mm-hmm.
No, we're paying somebody to do it. I'm going to help them. That's about it. I can't. I mean, me and my dad can make them, but God knows how long it would take us to make the cabinets. Better off just to pay somebody that does it for a living nowadays.
Yeah.
Yeah, for the most part, unless you got a good buddy or you can crank it out pretty quick yourself.
Geek Boy said to shrink the kitchen so you can build the 2K plywood tank. That's dedication. Yep.
Yeah.
I think I'll go ahead.
Small kitchenette.
I think if I'm going to do that, I'm going to go ahead and multitask, and I'm going to go ahead and put the backsplash in that she wants, and I'll build the tank all at the same time.
There you go.
Now that's a plan.
There might be some runoff. Might go ahead and just tile the tank too while I'm at it.
Yeah, there you go.
Might as well. People do it.
Uh-huh.
Everybody that came in, I am sorry, that if I missed you, and thank you so much for hanging out with us, and I hope you're having a good day or not, depending on where you're at. And if you have any questions for Carrie and Jesse, just please post them in chat.
Yeah, we got about 8 minutes left, so yeah, thanks for everybody for coming.
Oh, you've had a bunch of people in here, man. I mean, the chat's been just moving. I've just been watching and trying to keep up with it myself.
Do you have any future plans of what you want to do in your fishery?
I want to combine a couple of tanks fish-wise together and rescape a few. I'm just amazed. You can put 2 tanks together. Like, everything's the same for the most part, but one will grow plants 1,000 times better than the other one will. And some of the tanks that aren't really doing too plant-wise too well, I kind of want to rescape and kind of play around, because I try to aquascape, and then about halfway through the process I get frustrated because I don't know how to aquascape, and I really want to take my time and learn how to make it look good. I've got all this dragon stone that I recently bought, and just kind of playing around with the rocks and stuff. I really want to make it look good instead of just, that'll go there, and plop something in there and it kind of floats to that position, and try to put a little bit more effort in making it look nice and putting the foreground plants in the right spot, and just taking a little bit more time in that. So hopefully kind of rescaping a few things. And a couple of the guppies, they're doing okay, but I need to introduce something to them. So I'm kind of thinking about combining a few of them together and maybe seeing what happens, see what we get. Something.
What she really needs to do is basically once a year put out a tour video.
What I need to do now is put out a video in general
of the room. And then the following year at that same time, do one again, because it's never the same.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it doesn't ever.
About the time she likes it, I get to go through and change it.
I want to paint. See if I get right here. I want to paint right there to make it matte like the rest of. See if I can find that paint again. Paint just aesthetic stuff, I guess, making it look a little better.
Oh, yeah.
It seems like right now I just need to remember how to turn off the lights so I don't have so much algae problems. I thought I was doing good, and then I wasn't.
I just recently come across the new substrate, which I've heard of before, but I didn't realize it was as good as I discovered it was. But I love it, and that is the Eco Complete.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I mean, I will never go back to anything else but that stuff.
Yeah, it's really it's good stuff.
Yeah, I do like that.
Mm-hmm. I used to just do like the colorful gravel. I did that for so many years, and now I've played around with substrates. It's really fun to play around with substrates. I didn't think it would be that fun, but we have sand and pea gravel and the Eco Complete. We have seashell. Like, it's fun. We have a couple dirted tanks with sand caps that are doing pretty well. I didn't think it would be that fun to play around with substrates, but it really is.
It is. Until
Well,
you got to take
only
one completely out and change it, then it's like, oh man, that's a lot of substrate.
They add the MSG if you want it. That's the question. The Chinese food question he was asking earlier.
Oh, I didn't even see that. I'm sorry, Bob.
No,
I
it
didn't
was in their stream. And
Oh,
Oh,
I missed it too. My bad, Bob.
I seen it. I left it go because he's messing with me.
Uh-huh.
Well, that's Bob. You got to come back with something intelligent to tell him.
I don't have nothing intelligent for that question.
I'm not smart enough to talk to Bob.
yes.
He's so knowledgeable.
And like all the people in the chat, please go check out Miss Susie Q next,
Mm-hmm.
and Bob Keller is next after her as well. So everybody just go show some love.
Yeah.
And Bob said, check me in an hour. I got this. Check hour in an hour.
I am so gonna be there for that.
He's
Oh, okay.
I am saying that. I have a feeling Skipper's got something coming.
he's smiling.
Maybe, maybe not. Me and him like to go at each other. It's funny. Everybody
I'm gonna
thinks
listen to the chats while we cook the kids, I guess, hamburgers or something. I don't know.
I don't know what they even got concocted. They had a plan. So
that's scary.
My child lives on pizza and he needs to eat something today besides pizza.
There's times me and Bob's in a stream together, and they probably think we hate each other, but that's just what we do. He even said, "Yes, man, they must think I hate you." I said, "Nah, I thought it was love. Thank you." Hey.
nope. If you're not aggravating each other, it's not fun.
Yeah,
Exactly. And two, if a person like, if a person like, if they pick on you every now and then or just cracks jokes, whatever, it's because that they actually truly what they like you and they got respect for you. It's just one of them type things.
Yep, that's 100% correct. It's if they get quiet and don't talk to you, that's when you ought to get nervous.
Yeah.
if I don't talk to you, you better be nervous. All right, everybody, thank you for showing up for the stream. Robert being here and Carrie for being our guest tonight.
Thank you for having me. It's fun.
You're welcome. We'll be doing this again next Sunday at 6 p.m. Everybody have a good night. Go check out Susie Q. She normally has, I know normally. She always has a good stream.
Mm-hmm.
She has a guest tonight too, I think. Chung. So,
Oh yeah, from Waterbox, right?
yeah. All right, we'll see y'all later.
Bye guys.
Peace.